So harmonic numbers, they're very cool, but they're also very useful, and it's really one row, 2, 4, 8, 16, so 2 to the first, 2 to the second, 2 to the third, across the top row, 3, 9, 27, 81, etc. 3 squared, etc. What do they bring us? Well, there's quite a bit of info, and it's a very cool system to remember many things. For instance, the Pythagorean tuning scale, or I still call it even scientific tuning forks, connect beautifully. The clock, the number of minutes, number of hours, number of seconds per day, again, all very harmonic, fit within these numbers. It's just a matter of times 10, times 100, times 1,000. The compass, we know when we are, and with the compass we know where we are going. The same thing happens again, these harmonic numbers. The numbers very much connected to the clock, but they also separate, and again, very harmonic in geometry, wonderful numbers. The platonic solids, sometimes there's a bit of derision put on it, but they're a fact. They're in nature, they're observed all the time, and again, harmonic numbers throughout. The vesica, the fundamental unit, the basic construction from which all geometry, and by definition sacred geometry, emerges. With the 360 compass, again, these numbers tune to the harmonics wonderfully. But in the modern age, the old-fashioned TVs, the 4x3, and the new screens, 16x9, directly connect back to the set of numbers. The modern age resonates with this, it's built on it, and even file sizes and full HD 1080, even you look at the file sizes for all the different types of video, all based on harmonic numbers. What was ancient is new. It's a fundamental of modern science as well, but in weights and measures that we've brought on from past and still use. The apothecary's weight, or the troy ounce, measure silver and gold, 480 grains, 31.14 grams, but even the subdivisions wonderfully connect to the harmonics. The Mayan calendar and their base 20 number system still come back to the same sets of numbers, which would be connected to the Mediterranean and the Greeks, but also across the Atlantics, but in the East, and the Hindus well before the Greek era, the yugas and the cycles of destruction, all connect back to these same sets of numbers as was used in the modern video age, the same as in older weights, as in geometry, as in the clock and the compass. Throughout history and across the world, these apparently separate cultures always come back to the same set of numbers, and their weights and measures are built around these units and these proportions, and these are measurable. This is weights and measures. It's not whether it's in myth or in literal sense, can't be questioned. The great year, precession of the equinoxes, all very harmonic. 72 years per degree of precession, one platonic month, one platonic season, or one platonic year. All again fit in with the same small series of numbers. The size of the Earth, the size of the Moon, the size of the Sun in well-known modern scales such as the mile, and therefore the league, but also in Doric and the Longfoot scale, these ancient measures which have been forgotten, but not entirely, shifted over to the next line. And again, here now the Doric and the Longfoot, and even the ratio of mass between Earth and Moon, so Sun, Earth and Moon reappear again. The geometry which emerges from the vesica is a basis of Bode's law, which defines the distances of planets better than any other methods so far, and it's very geometric. And music, astronomy, arithmetic, geometry, modern scales, ancient scales, scales of time, scales of cycles of destruction, the sun, the earth and the moon, over and over. These are the very same numbers which define the great cities such as Washington, Paris, Canberra, Astana, Brasilia, even London and New York. The great works of art, the great buildings, always the great monuments will always hidden underneath in plain sight have the same set of numbers, again hidden in the measurements. The symbolism is paper thin. It's right there to be measured, and yet still somehow the skeptics, let's call them, consider this as an outlandish idea. But here it is, through time, through across cultures, across formats, the same numbers are appearing again and again, and that's why the architecture, sacred architecture, contains these fundamentals, because it represents so much about our universe, from the macro or the micro scale, and from the modern to the ancient scales. These are just the most harmonic, the most beautiful sets of numbers and proportions to use, and it's clearly evident and it's right in your face. Anyway, hope you enjoyed and have a good one.